We all have that drive in us. You just got to find it. It's there. I don't care what it is. You can make it work.
You just heard Norma Diaz, the owner of La Rosa Bars. Norma Diaz, she's the owner of La Rosa Bars, and she's talking about how her family got into the fruit bar and ice cream business, how they started out with cake decorating first and then eventually grew, started doing fruit bars, and then how Norma finally got into the business and took over the family business and what she's done with it. In today's show, we discuss fruit bars, we discuss wedding cakes, we discuss Mexico City, we discuss Chicago, we discuss how you can actually rent the ice cream cart filled with ice cream and fruit bars for your next event. Be sure and stay tuned and hear what drives Norma, what has motivated her, who her mentor is, and some common myths about her expertise and what it means to get into business and keep successful and driving forward and never giving up.
Welcome back to the Our 2 Cents podcast, the show where your local professionals sit down with an array of guests to hear their story and impart some wisdom for both business and life-improving skills. This is your place to hear business and community leaders discuss relevant topics that matter to you.
And welcome to the show today. My name is Dave Plivelich. Before we get in today's episode, I'd like to encourage our listeners to follow us on Instagram, since it's the best way to stay up to date on new releases. And we are here with Norma Diaz, the owner of La Rosa Bars. And Norma, we're so happy to have you join us today.
Me too.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to get into some of today's topics with you, but before we start, tell us a little about the history of La Rosa.
La Rosa Fruit Bars, established in 1980. Prior to that, it was a cake shop that my mom did wedding cakes, birthday cakes, every kind of cake that you could think of. So at some point, they had to decide, what are we going to do here? Are we going to do this or are we going to do that? And Bakersfield being 110 degrees was perfect. And back then, I don't think there was anybody else.
I don't think there was.
There was.
So were your parents from Bakersfield or from Mexico?
No,
or
they're from
what's their
Mexico
background?
City.
Okay, so when did they come here? What did they do prior to coming and doing this?
Well, my sister and I were born in Chicago, so, just like any time my dad would hear where there was work. He worked in Arizona for a while, and then he went back to Mexico City and married my mom and said, there's more work in Chicago. We're going to go up there. And then, he finally sent for her and they built their life there, the beginning of their family. And I guess kind of like in 1970, they decided, we don't want to be here anymore. Let's move to Mexico City. So that's what we did. We moved back to Mexico City and only ended up living there for a year because I think they realized that it wasn't like it was before. Yeah. And obviously the better opportunity was in the United States of America. Yeah. And I am so happy about that because what's really weird? Even as a kid, I knew that when I turned 18, I was coming back here. Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
I was not going to stay there. Yeah. That was already my plan in my brain as an 11-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did they do prior? I mean,
my dad worked at a company called the Chicago Rawhide. It was a tool and die company. And, they had bought their first house and then they had bought a little rental. So my he's a landlord from the very beginning and they just worked very hard. Back then in the 60s, the mother stayed pretty much home with the children and that just didn't happen with us. My grandma, my mom's mom happened to come to America and she was like our mother also. So my mom and dad both worked. And I think that's how it all started, And then when we came back, we didn't go back to Chicago. We came to California because my mom had a brother here in Delano. And so we went there for a little bit and then they found a house in Bakersfield to rent, obviously, right there on 16th Street, where it just used to be the railroad tracks. Now there's some buildings there. And then after that, my mom worked at Mercy Hospital in the admitting section. And my dad would just try to get a job where I think he worked at the hospital too for a while. And then he got a job. I can't remember the name of the place, but they also made tool and die sort of company. And then he went to work at the almond plant, sorting almonds. And he told me a story about a gal that used to come in the break room with him and call him Jesse. His name is Jesus. Hey, Jesse, let me read your cards. And my dad be all, no, I don't want that. He didn't believe in that or nothing. And she kept bugging him. Finally, he said, one day I just finally said, forget it. Just read them. And that everything she kept turning over, was like dollar signs. And my dad's all, what? Oh, I'm getting my tax refund. Yeah. So he was all happy, right? But obviously, if you want that, you also have to want to work, because everyone can be successful.
Yeah.
We all have that drive in us. You just got to find it. It's there.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. You can make it work and you can make it successful. So, and that's what my parents did.
So would your mom start doing cakes on the side for people? I mean, where did that all come about?
I'm trying to remember. That was a long time ago. I think she was interested in it, in cake decorating. So there was a place on North Chester that did classes.
Okay.
And I think she started doing that, and she had a drive for it and a passion for it. And my dad bought her that little house, and she just started doing it out of there.
So I got to ask this quick question. My mom, way back when they took cake decorating class, and she'd bring home all those roses and
yes,
all the flowers. And so I think it was maybe my 13th birthday, and all my friends came over to my birthday party, and I had chocolate cake with no icing. I was so sick of icing. I didn't eat icing for years. But that was before when it was that rock hard icing. It wasn't the smooth stuff.
Yeah, the smooth stuff. Yeah, no, like I said, she did some beautiful cakes. I'm pretty sure she had some, stories in the newspaper and things like that. So, yeah.
So she was making kind of cakes on the side for people, and it started building up. And then that's when they decided to start the cake business.
Yeah, because she said, hey, let's just be legit, like everyone should be.
Yeah.
And let's do that. But they ended up going back to Chicago to visit some friends. And this guy had started making fruit bars because he was from Mexico too. And if you've ever been to Mexico City or Mexico, it's kind of like going to Italy and you're in Rome and every corner has a gelato.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same thing down there. Like every street has a paleteria. And that's what you're going to get.
So your dad in Chicago went, how do I do this? And,
exactly.
Okay.
And he was thinking, he was probably thinking, man, it's so hot over there and there's nothing there. Why don't we do that? Yeah. So they came back and started making their own recipes. And his friend had shown him, hey, this is how you kind of do it. And you start little. We had a small tank because that's what we make our bars in, is a tank that freezes them, but doesn't freeze what's freezing them.
Okay.
And if that makes any sense. But so we still do it old school.
How many would you say do you guys produce a month or a year?
That's a tough question, because that would require me to sit down and go through all my little pieces of paper, because I know I should be in the 21st century. Because when I went there, I thought, man, I'm going to change my dad's world.
Yeah.
I'm going to change my world. And guess what? I didn't.
You didn't?
I tried to, and it was more work than I figured, and I still have a notebook.
So is it still kind of done manually and everything? You said, how many fruit bars do you make in a batch?
800. We can make 800 bars a batch. So normally it would take 3 people, but I've only had a 2-girl crew doing it. They might make 6 batches a day.
Oh, wow.
Because you gotta peel the fruit, and bananas are easy. The mangoes, they're tougher, because you gotta peel each one, and strawberries aren't too bad. But other than that,
I gotta try the mangoes one. I didn't realize you did mango.
Oh, mango's good. Yeah. And actually during COVID year, we made these, I called them Mango Madness. Actually, a customer gave me a name called one day and said, hey, you have any of those Mango Madness? And I was like, I'm going to use that name. And he's like, okay. And those had chamoy and tahini in them, and mango chunks. Excuse me. I always say mango because that's in Spanish. And people go, what's that? And I'm like, hello, it's a mango. Okay.
A mango.
All right.
Okay. So what's your favorite?
Oh, my gosh. I knew you were going to ask that. It's not a fruit, but it's the root beer float.
What? You got a root beer float one?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
yes.
I got to come down there and check stuff out because it's changed since
we use A&W root beer. That's why it's so good. And we have my next favorite is the arroz con leche. Now, mind you, we make everything from scratch. Yeah. So during the summer, anything you come and get, it's not even a week old. It's not like it got made over here and it got shipped cross country in this truck and then got onto this other truck. It's not like that at all. You're getting it straight from us.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So I don't think our listeners caught this in the first time we tried to record this. This was my first job when I moved to Bakersfield. So I'd moved, I came from West Virginia. I moved to Venice Beach. And then my sophomore year, we moved up here to Bakersfield. I was going to East High. So I actually worked for your dad there for a while. I can't remember how long I did work for him, but I did learn some life lessons. Somebody gave me a large bill and it was folded and I stuck it in my pouch, and when I got back, and your dad's going through my cash and doing the inventory on how many bars I sold, and we realized when he opened that bill up that the other half was not there, so I had to work that one off apparently.
I know, that's so sad.
But again, I learned that lesson. I always check those bills.
Yeah, it only happened once, right?
Oh my God! Yeah, it only happened once, and I knew the house where that person came out of, so I avoided that street. It's like they never got La Rosa bars from me.
That's right.
Again. You guys now, you don't have as many carts
out
on the street anymore? Okay.
No, well, we only have actually 4 guys that go out. Okay. One guy just bought his own cart from another company that closed down south. And actually, it was the guy from Chicago.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, because this is crazy. He started selling snow cones out of a shopping cart in Chicago. That's how he started and became a millionaire.
Whoa.
Yeah. So then he came out here and rented a helicopter to fly all over LA so he could see where he wanted to put his plant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and he just passed away recently. Okay. And the little guy that said, oh, yeah, Gustavo's son gave me this card. He gifted it to me. I go, that's awesome. I said, what's his phone number? He's all, oh, no, they're closed already. I go, that's okay. I want those cards.
Yeah.
Because really, it's been a huge blessing to have the carts. It's really a unique business.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Because we can have 30 rentals on a Saturday for parties, people, but they have to come and pick them up. So I always give them the spiel like, okay, we're in the alley, bring some muscles, bring some help, bring some tie downs, and you're good to go. So really, that's been a lot of huge advertising for us. It's people's with their birthday parties and picnics, whatever they're kind of quinceañeras they're doing. I mean, we're all about that. And they love it. They love it.
People can actually for my birthday next year, could come down there and rent
a cart
with whatever flavors I want in it.
I've had people come on a Saturday just to buy bars, and they see people picking up carts, and they're like, how much are those cart rentals? And how much are the bars? And da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah. And you could take it home, and people freak out. First of all, because it's a generational product. I mean, like you said, look how old you were when you had them, So now I have people that had at their baby shower, and now their baby's a year old and they want another cart, and now their baby's going to do this, and now their baby's going to do that. And so for Easter during COVID, I made a Easter bar. So it was half bubblegum and half cotton candy.
Oh, wow.
So it was pink and blue, right? But then you start looking at it and you go, what else could I do with that? So I thought, people are really into gender reveals. So now, and I have a baby cart. That's my baby. It's a little baby cart. So cute. Anyways, I think that's great for baby showers. Yeah. Or even for little 1-year-old parties, because the baby can go in there and get whatever he wants. But the gender reveal bars are really the Easter bars.
Okay.
AKA gender. Okay. No.
So people can come down there. They can. The cake thing's been long gone. You stopped doing that. But people can come down there into the alley at the location on Niles. What's the address there?
1317 Niles Street.
Okay. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you guys for a cart,
well, you need to call me.
Okay.
And that's 661-619-9359. And the way we work it is they call me. I put them in my book. Not on my computer, because I like flipping pages. Oh, no, I missed this one. So, yeah, I try not to miss anything. Yeah. It's very important because everybody's event is way important. Yeah. So I make sure that.
So is that the only products you make? It's just the ice cream bars and the frozen fruit bars, so I can't get like a half gallon of that?
No, okay. You know what? I'm such a procrastinator, but it's time.
Yeah.
I need time. Usually by now, I'm trying to kick back a little bit through the winter months, but that hasn't happened, and I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
We do get really big orders, and I'm so super happy about that. And like I said, the few employees that I have are the life of the business. Yeah. Because I can't do it alone. There's no way.
And this is nonprofit charity event season. I mean, it's just so busy right now. So you're supplying to a lot of these events, I take it.
Well, I mean, a lot of the schools, they use them as rewards for their kids, for attendance, for great grades, for honor roll. I mean, I love all of that. And, that's what it's about.
Yeah. And so now, we got your location on Niles, but people can also find your ice cream and fruit bars where else?
Yeah, well, a lot of the Sullys have them. Most of the Sullys, all of them, I should say. They're really great with local products, by the way. They're great people. Just really unusual places like the Chevrons, some of the Chevrons out in Rosedale, a Beta Weed. Roundup.
The golf place.
Yeah, Ultimate Drive.
Ultimate
In
Drive.
fact, she just contacted me today, and they have their tap truck. They have a tap truck.
Yeah. Okay.
And they like to do root beer floats, but not my root beer float bar, but they'll take their root beer float and use my vanilla bar, which, I mean, we can do a lot of things. During COVID, I did a lot of videos on Instagram. I learned how to do Instagram, and I was just having a blast, making drink videos with our fruit bars.
That's awesome. So you got a michelada one.
Yeah, the bar is a michelada one.
Okay.
So that's fun for your beer. Again, it's not, you could drink it. If I sell it to these guys out at like Second Phase Brewing, or I'd like to hit lengthwise and see that they have patios. Well, you take your pint of beer out on the patio, and by the time you get halfway, you want to throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's a little warm.
It's just warm. Yeah. So, but with the michelada bar, you stick it in there. It's a little 2-ounce bar. You get great flavored beer, and by the time you take your last drink, it's still stone cold. And that's what it's all about, because who likes hot beer, right?
Yeah, I got to come down and get it. My buddy Bob would love this. So
yeah,
I'll do this for his birthday too.
No, just let me know ahead of time, because it's not something we have in stock. Like right now, we won't make any till probably spring. So there's certain things that we do, unless you wanted them or something. I could make that work. Not a problem. But another one that I want to talk about is we're doing a lot of business with Tiki Co., or the Sinking Ship. I don't know if you've been down there.
Yes,
it's amazing. Have you been at the Sinking Ship? It's very cool. It's just downstairs.
Oh, yes. No, I've been in both. Both. Yeah.
So they buy our mix and they do their drinks. Originally at Tiki Co., they did the Bo Rosa, which was their number one drink. Okay. But so now at the Sinking Ship, they have these slushy machines that do the banana's a great seller, and they add their rum or whatever they add to it, and they're wonderful drinks right now.
So they're using your product with the rum, and it makes slushies down there. Everybody needs to go down there.
Exactly.
You got to be 21, though. 21. Right?
Yeah, you got to be 21 for sure. But it's a fun place.
Yeah.
So something that I thought about probably 10 years ago is now happening, and I don't have to worry about how it's going to happen because these other people are making it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm really happy to be doing that, because I was breaking my head and how would I ship this, or how could I do that, or how could I do this? But it all comes together eventually. Yeah. Because it's supposed to be.
So what are your dad thinking of all these new flavors? I mean, you're kind of like stepping out of the box here and going above and beyond.
Yeah. Well, that was only in the beginning, because, again, I wanted to change the world, and it didn't work out that way. It worked out perfectly. I love how my dad did it. I still do it the same way. And, I wanted to add a new flavor every year, but packaging is very expensive.
Really? So
I stopped that.
Okay.
So instead, my right-hand guy, Carlos, he had told me, why don't you make a bag that says custom? So that's what I did. Still has our La Rosa logo on it, and it says custom bar, so it could be anything.
Okay.
During COVID, again, cherry vanilla was a very popular flavor, so we still make that. It's not going to be a regular flavor. I just throw it out there when we did it for Mother's Day, and it was a hit.
Just kind of a seasonal, special thing. So
yeah. So right now I made some pumpkin pie bars. A gal came right away and bought 2 dozen. Oh yeah, I want those.
So with these, especially when you come out with new flavors or temporary flavors, you're using Instagram. So is that the best way for people to kind of follow what you're doing?
Well, I haven't been, because I don't know what happened to Facebook. Okay, I want to call it other things, but I won't.
I think
to be kind. I don't know what they did with their algorithms. I mean, I had thousands of people looking and calling and coming and everything, and now I might get like 91 views or something. So people go, you need to get on Snapchat, and I'm like, oh Lord. Okay, well, I need to learn how to use that. And TikTok, right? TikTok's the big thing. So as soon as I start TikToking,
okay,
you're going to be coming down there.
So I know one of the big events you have done recently was back in July with the Houchin Blood Bank. Tell me what was so special about that event and what it was called and why you did it.
Well, we had actually done it for several years.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Again, I hate saying the C word, but, that changed everything. Yeah. So that kind of went away for a couple of years. But, yeah, they wanted to draw the Hispanic community, I guess. But even before that, I mean, everybody loves La Rosa.
Yeah. No, everybody does.
You don't have to be Hispanic.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm half Irish and half Croatian.
Well, there you go.
I love pushing that cart, to be quite honest. I was very fit back then. I did a lot of walking.
Exactly. It's good for you.
A lot of walking. So that event is called Beat the Heat Blood Drive. Do they do that every summer now? Or
I think they're still doing it, but like I said, Tracy's gone. Tracy Hunter was the gal that would do all the all the setup and everything. So I'm not sure, but I think, we did it this last year. But another thing, like when they do the volunteer fan drive downtown, I like to treat the volunteers. Like I said, if I had more time, I'll be driving down the street. And the unfortunate part for me is unless I have a cooler that has dry ice, there's been times when I see the guys working, that work for Caltrans or for the city, and I see them out there sweating bullets, and I'm like, man, wouldn't I just love to pull over right now and go, hey, come over here. Get something to cool you off. I mean, I get the guys from the water company. That's one thing we did in the last couple of years. We got together with the water company and made a water cucumber bar, a watermelon cucumber, which was perfect because it was the water company, right?
Yeah.
So we did some stuff with Karen Go and the water company, and we had done something.
So what was your background? I mean, did you grow up working around your mom and dad and went, I want to do this? Or what have you done? What did you do prior to this?
No, well, I was very fortunate and landed a great job at 19, straight out of high school, pretty much. My plan was to stay there. I did stay there 17 years. Yeah. And my parents I got hired on in the end of 79, and they started their business in 80. So no, I wasn't involved in that. Although I did go down there here and there.
You were working for the telephone company, correct?
Yes, for the telephone company. Yeah, so I stayed there for 17 years, but for the last 5 years, since they threw me outside to work on climbing poles and stuff, I was like, I don't know.
Oh, they had to climb poles too.
Yeah,
all right.
Towards the end. And I started in the switch room, which was great.
Yeah.
It was a great job. It was like, other than being a supervisor, that was the next best job. So, well, I don't know if being a supervisor was that great, but anyways, so I decided to leave there to do my own thing. And I'm not going to say it didn't work out. It just didn't turn out the way that I thought, because I started right away with my parents, not planning on staying there. I wanted to start my own business. So I believe that business is in our blood, one way or another. But my family was important to me, so I stayed there. And like I said, my mom was ill and my dad needed help. So, I mean, I was there. So I just kind of just drifted into the position of being the owner.
So obviously you started out at the bottom when you were pushing carts, weren't you?
Well, that's a very difficult thing. No, but I'll tell you what, Hispanic families, like, you're going to earn your way. And I'm sure other families too, but they're very, direct. And I started at the bottom.
Yeah,
I made boxes. I made crates. I had to be there every night. I had to drive the guys out to Lamont and go pick them up at night and get mad if they weren't there on time. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that was my job. In fact, I had a customer come the other day to pick up a cart, and I said, they didn't send you with any help? And he's like, no, they didn't tell me that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this cart is too heavy. But I happened to have my truck there, and that I had put a lift gate on last year. Okay. I was so happy.
Makes life a little easier.
I said, okay, I'm going to put it on my truck and then bring your truck and we'll just slide it over. But I laughed at the end because he's like, man, you work like a man. And I go, I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. This is what you do, but I have to be very careful at this point.
So you guys are just all based out of the Miles location,
Miles Street,
and everything's done manually?
Everything is manual except for our wrapping machine.
Okay.
So we treat it with kindness, and the guy that works on it's down in LA. And when I call him up once a year, at least at the beginning, to check it out, like you should any type of equipment, he still can't get over the fact what great shape it's in. And I think that's due to that there's not 50 employees working on one machine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that they care that we all build our lives around that business, so you're going to take care of what you have. And I really, really appreciate them.
You mess up that machine, it throws a wrench into the whole program.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it would.
Yeah.
We would be down.
So what's some of the best advice you've ever received?
Well, just to work hard and never give up, because you're going to go through highs and lows. I mean, I'm telling you, when I got there, 96, they'd already been there 16 years. So the life of their business was the carts, the street vendors, okay? Because really there was nothing else. Yeah. There was no street vendors out there. Now, I can't say that now because they're kind of everywhere. Yeah. However, after my dad left, or even when we were still there, it started, taking a dive with the carts, because just how people are out, they're not always very nice, and people wanted to go get different jobs and do different things. And I understood. So I was really kind of a little almost depressed about that, because I was used to the energy and then it was gone. So like I said, we only have like maybe 4 gentlemen, because they're older gentlemen, that go out and sell, and they enjoy doing it. 2 of them have a vehicles and the other ones walk.
Wow.
everywhere.
What do you mean? They're selling out of their vehicles?
No. They take their cart where they have a little trailer where they can take
so
their
where
cart
can
to
they
different
find
places.
these guys? What areas do they?
I don't know.
Yeah, just wherever
they come
they
get
feel.
their bars and not.
That's it.
That's their deal.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but people do call. Like Jingbrook Ford will call sometime. Hey, can you send somebody down here? And I'm thinking, it's not like the old days. But yeah, so I call Domingo. Hey, do you want to do this? And he's thrilled.
Yeah.
Valley Bible had something. Can you send? Yep. He was thrilled to go down there. Just different things. Yeah. So we're excited
and
about
back
that.
to the never giving up. I mean, like I said, a lot of our listeners are new to business and they're really, they listen to our show to hopefully get advice. But I think that is a big part of not giving up. I mean, sometimes people make excuses and have hurdles, and sometimes you just have to ignore those hurdles and realize you've got to figure out how to get around them. I mean, that was not too long ago. I was talking with a gentleman, and or me and a few colleagues were talking to a guy, and this guy's talking about starting his own business, and everything that came out of his mouth was reasons why not to, and we were like trying to encourage him. Well, here's your solution to that. But then I have this issue. It's like, well, here's your issue to that. And it was like, after a while, I was like, I don't think you're ever gonna have a business, bud.
No, you can't do that. Let me tell you, there's been times where I feel overwhelmed. And everything has to do with your attitude. Yeah. Everything. Because I could sit there and moan and groan, although I complain to myself sometimes, but then I stop and I'm thankful and grateful, and then everything is okay. And it always works out. Yeah. There's no circumstance that's too big for my God.
Yeah.
There's not.
Awesome.
So you just keep plugging along, and your attitude.
Who is your biggest mentor?
My dad.
Your dad, for sure. I was going to say, I would hope that was going to be your answer.
He's my hero. He's pretty much my man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's definitely a hard worker, and you picked up on that for sure. It's in your genes.
Yeah, no. And my mother, too, bless her heart. And she's, we take good care of her. Yeah. I often wonder if she could still get around, if she would be down there with me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, they must be proud of what you're doing with the family business. I mean, again, you guys are part of the Bakersfield legacy in my eyes.
I hope so.
I think everybody here too.
I think it goes without saying,
sure.
but my most important job above everything else is taking care of my parents.
Yeah.
Make sure they have everything. And when the weather gets crappy, I'm like, don't you go outside, Dad. I'll bring you lunch or make you lunch or bring you something. I don't want you going out because.
Does he ever come down much to check things out?
No. And I wish he would. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Like, Daddy, and he's like, no. I think he's just done.
Yeah.
He used to repair the molds for me out of his garage. That was his big thing. It gave him something to do during the summer, and instead of just sitting around. But I think he's 97.
So that came from his tooling experience then, that he made the molds.
I never even thought of that. That's great.
There's the connection.
Wow.
Right.
My dad is a todólogo, which means he can do anything. Since I was a little girl, if it could be made, he'd make it. If it could be fixed, he'd fix it. And he'd get guys to build whatever he needed to build, but he always told, no, don't do it like that. Do this. He could have been anything he wanted to be.
Yeah.
Even a photographer.
Really?
When we were little, he'd take home movies. There was no voice. I still have them all. Photographs were amazing. When I go back and I look at him, I go, man, my dad and he could have been anything.
Yeah.
But he's my daddy.
So did he capture a lot of the early days of La Rosa and that process?
He does have some photos, and probably has a lot of them stashed away too, but I'd have to go through all that stuff, and that ain't happening. But I have a few photographs. But like I said, there were some news stories in the newspaper, so I've tried to, like, how you get them on those plaques. I try to do that, and just for me to have something, of them. I
got another rapid fire question here, but I want to touch real quick. The original location, you said it was a house on Niles Street.
Yes.
And then you guys built an industrial facility around it, or a retail store?
He just built, when my mom had the cake shop, he actually built a front portion to it, like in front of the house, and people could actually come in. And I remember hanging around then because they had a Galaga machine, and I was on it all the time.
You can buy those new now again. Yeah.
Oh, it was awesome, man. We'd be there for hours. But people would come in, and my mom would, show them the books, and they want this cake or that cake. So eventually, now that is the part where we manufacture our bars. So really, the back of the building is the front, and the front is the back. So
when you guys open? So if somebody wants to come down and check out things or buy...
At this time of the year, call me, because we're not there all the time. Like right now, like tomorrow we'll make bars and Friday.
Give us that phone number again.
661-619-9359.
Is that like a cell phone number?
It is my cell phone.
Wow. So everybody's got Norma's personal cell phone number.
That's right. And I want them to have it. Everybody should have it. Everybody.
Anybody wants ice cream bars or frozen fruit bars, that's the number to call.
If you've ever called my shop, it's a landline. People laugh. They go, "Oh my God, I love your message." Because I said, and if you have an ice cream emergency, call my cell number, and I give them the number. And then they laugh about that because there should be ice cream emergencies.
So your hours of operation, it sounds like just call you.
Right now, yes. At this time of the year, November, December, January, February, call me.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it's hit and miss. You know, I'm only going to be there when we do bars or maybe if we're cleaning up or maybe renovating some of our carts because, you know, I would love to renovate all of them. We've only got about 25 to 30 of them renovated where, you know, I'd say, hey, come and get it because it's going to look great at your party. You know?
So if somebody wants to rent one for the party, what's your average cost on something like that? Or depends on what?
The cart rental is $55.
Okay.
It's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
The bars right now, today, are $1.50 each, straight across, any flavor. And I do ask for a minimum of 50 bars. So 50 bars in a cart's $130.
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's not bad.
You get to pick your flavors. You know, people go, how many flavors can I pick? Pick whatever you want. It's like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Is that a kid in an ice cream store?
A kid in an ice cream store is probably more appropriate.
Exactly.
Awesome. So what's a common myth about what you do?
You know, I don't know. What do you think is a common myth? I'm on the inside.
I would think that there would be a lot more automation involved. I mean, to hear this is all done manually, and you do 800 in a batch, and you're doing 4 or 5 batches a day, and it's all done manually. That's pretty amazing.
It is, and it is pretty amazing. I ran into a friend the other day that was telling me about this gal that might be looking for a job that works at Nestle or something, or was working there. I don't know. And she's like, she knows this machine and that machine and that machine and this machine, and I'm sitting there listening to her and I'm like, wow, does she know how to use a wrapping machine? You know? And here's the thing, the funny thing, like I said, at the end of August, I lost one of my girls for the rest of the season. So I've had to step in.
Okay.
So now it's me and my other girl's name is Norma too. So you can't miss calling down there. Can I speak to Norma? Yeah. I'm Norma. Anyway, I used to say, other than making the bars, I do everything else. Yeah. But now I can honestly say I do it all.
Absolutely. Everything.
With some help, of course. Yeah. Of course, not alone. So making the bars, it's made me see certain things that I might want to change, you know, just little quirks, or I might want to change this or that, or make it maybe a little easier for them, or whatever, you know, these people help me. So they're my employees, and I've had them for a long time.
So with the original flavors out there, have you changed those at all? Those pretty much your dad's original recipes, and that's what you've stuck to?
Yes, because anytime you change anything, somebody's going to know. I don't care if it's one, I don't care if it's one person, you know. Yeah. A long time ago, like I said, I rarely eat them because I'm just busy doing other things. Yeah. And one day I was like, I think I want a fruit bar. So I went in the freezers and I was looking around and I chose banana. Well, thank goodness I chose banana. I swear it was the grace of God. I took a bite and I was like, oh my gosh, did you guys forget to put sugar in this?
Oh no.
Yeah. And bananas are sweet, but you know, they need a little help sometimes. Yeah. So we had to get rid of the batch and start all over. That rarely happens because I tell them just do one at a time. Sometimes they try to rush and do 2 at a time. And I'm like, don't, because you'll forget that I put this and that and that and this, and would not be a good thing. But I do like to mix and match. Like German chocolate cake is one of my favorite flavors.
Okay.
And we have everything to make that flavor. Like we already make a coconut bar. We already make a pecan bar. We already make a chocolate bar. So you just take what you already got and
blend it all together.
Kamikaze it, you know?
So how many standard flavors do you have? And then, but customized wise, I mean, sky's the limit.
We have 27 flavors right now. You know, I wanted to make a different flavor all the time, but that just, it's not reasonable or financially reasonable.
Sure.
But the custom thing I can do. And I've had, there's a gal from the Kern River Fly Fishing Group, and she came to me a couple years ago. We're having our big meeting. Can you make me some peppermint bars? And I was
I thought you were going to say trout. I was like, I'm not going to have that
bar.
one.
No way. I don't want to taste that one. But she said peppermint, and I was like, okay, well, I haven't, but I'm sure I could do it, you know. So we made some, and she loved them. So this last year, she ordered some for herself, too, and they just love them.
So if they want a custom flavor like that, I mean, is there a minimum order on something like that? I mean, you have to do a batch of 800.
No, it is. So it's going to cost a little bit more than $1.50.
Yeah.
But pretty much we can make, whatever you want. If you could think of it, we can make it. Although, like I said, time is of essence for me. And I'm still, hopefully by this spring, I hope I'm not lying, I'm going to do a lavender lemonade, because I don't know if you know about the lavender fields out there going by Lost Hills.
No.
There's a lavender store out there where all the lavender fields are. And she had brought me some lavender stuff to make, and I just haven't gotten around to it because we're too busy.
So is that going to be a
custom flavor?
Custom ice cream bar or fruit bar?
Fruit bar.
Okay.
No, it'll just be a fruit bar.
Okay.
Yeah. There's certain fruits that are made for ice cream, and then there's certain ones that are made just for fruit bars. Although the coconut, we have both, and I love them both.
Now, have you guys been doing Village Fest for like a long time now?
Yeah, for a long time. We're kind of like a little staple there too, and people love it. Especially when we first started there, and we had the little 1 ouncers. They were like, "Oh my God, those are so cute," and they are.
Yeah,
they're adorable. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4 ounce.
Well, I get excited every time I go someplace and I see La Rosa. I'm like, I tell everybody, I used to work for them. That was like my first job. So
they're like, what? You're a
widow. That was me. I know.
A widow at East Side.
All right. So tell us here. So those are we danced around the rapid fire questions there, and we a lot of filler in between those. But one of my other questions I like to ask: what's something about you that people would be like shocked to go, wait, she did what? Or she listens to, or she's a Cyndi Lauper fan, or she's traveled there.
I'm boring.
Oh, come on.
Other than being a runner, I think I was pretty boring. I don't know. I golf now because, I mean, I was golfing a long time ago, but now it's, oh, yeah, I'm the president of the women's club out at Kern River.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
All right.
And I just am going to have my first annual charity classic in April of 23, which is going to benefit Bakersfield Angels. So I'm going to be out there knocking on your door looking for some donors.
All right.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
No, that's okay.
Because it's a big deal to me. I wanted to pick something dear to me, and that was dear to me. So, and my idea is to have a different charity every year because it's about our community. And I don't want just my business to stand out. I want Kern River Women's Club to stand out also.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, obviously, Bakersfield is, our community is just amazing when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I'm going to be knocking on your door.
All right. Sounds good. So, not really huge in other social media platforms yet, but you're going to be a TikToker soon and
what I need to do
pretty soon, but you do have Instagram right now. So
I do, and I haven't really been doing a lot on it, but you can go on my Instagram page and look back, and there's a lot of cool drink videos on there. Like you don't need all these mixers. You just need this pina colada bar, or you just need this tamarindo bar and some tequila. And I mean, they're really cute. I set them up really cute, and it was just a lot of fun.
So a lot of good little party ideas then, as far as
absolutely. Hey, and let me tell you, I've had people call and go, "Hey, which bars do I need for what? Oh, I'm going to do this." Oh, and they would send me pictures of their drinks with the La Rosa bars. It's been a lot of fun.
Very cool. And what is your Instagram
It's
page?
La Rosa Fruit.
La Rosa Fruit, at La Rosa Fruit. All right. And then, so our listeners, when they also want a little bit more information, they can always go to our website, our2centspodcast.com, and they can listen to the show there or on any of their favorite podcast platforms, and we will list additional information on how to get a hold of Norma and La Rosa. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
It was a pleasure. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was awesome to finally meet you. You will. You want to do it again? Yeah, that's an inside joke. No, a pleasure to finally meet you. I was looking forward to this. I know we had some scheduling issues in the past, but I'm finally glad to do it.
I know it happened. See, never give up.
We didn't. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The show has been brought to you by the Law Office of Kyle Jones, Troy Burton with the Lynn Company, CPA John Duffield, Scott Hansen Real Estate Lender, broker and investor, Dave Plivelich, President and CEO of the Marcom Group and MarcomBranding.com, and Amanda DiGiacomo, President of Atlas Financial Solutions. You've been listening to the Our 2 Cents podcast. Check out the show notes for links and more information about the show. Also visit our website at our2centspodcast.com or catch us on Instagram at Our 2 Cents Podcasts. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share with others.